Hi, everyone. This is Khristee Rich. Welcome to Holistic Me TV. This is a brand new TV show on YouTube, and I am so excited to have you as one of my listeners. So today I'm super excited to bring on a guest from Canada. You will hear all about her in a second. So before we begin, I just want all of you to be aware that this show is all about holistic health and wellness, women's health, and also the pregnancy journey. So these are my passions. This is also my expertise. I have been a holistic health expert and holistic healer for over 18 years. I absolutely love the work that I do, empowering women with their health and wellness. I help them to overcome chronic conditions, chronic illnesses, and trauma through a holistic perspective. So that means getting to the root cause and treating it mind, body, and spirit, and then with natural ways and natural remedies. And my mission is to empower women around the world. So I decided to create this new TV show to educate women, to inspire women, and empower women around the world with their health and wellness. So I'm super excited today to introduce Karina because we are going to be talking about two of my passions today. Not only, well, actually three of my passions today, right? So holistic health and wellness and women's health and also the pregnancy journey. So welcome, Karina. Welcome to Holistic Me TV.
Hi, Khristee. It's so good to be here, and I'm super excited. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and I look really forward to watching it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So let me read your bio to everyone so everyone has a little idea of who you are before we get into more. So originating from the vibrant city of Panama, Karina Budhrani began her quest for self-discovery and personal growth through studies in psychology and human development at Duke University. Her journey led to become a homeopathic practitioner, amassing over 15 years of experience and more than 7 years in practice. She is the visionary behind Wellbee Social, a dedicated social networking platform for holistic health and wellness practitioners, educators, learners, and enthusiasts, fostering connections and engagement. Again, welcome, Karina.
Thank you, Khristee. That's awesome. It's so good to be here.
Okay, so let's start right into your story of how you got into the work that you do today. So can you share your story with all the watchers today?
Oh, absolutely. So my story actually first started out with knowing absolutely nothing about holistic wellness or homeopathic medicine. I grew up with a family that used antibiotics, for regular flus and colds, whether they were viral or bacterial, it didn't matter. If we had a fever, we were taken to the doctor and given those antibiotics. So actually, my immune system really struggled through my childhood and growing up. I actually suffered with allergies. I developed allergies through my teen years and into my young adulthood. And then I got married and I lived in Toronto, and my husband, suddenly came to me one day and he goes, "You look a little unwell. Do you have a sore throat?" And I said, "Yes." And he gave me some little white globules pellets in a bottle. And I said, "Well, what is this?" And he goes, "It's homeopathic medicine. And I've grown up with it." And this was all really, really new to me. It was a foreign concept. And I just realized how slowly they were working and how easy and gentle the recovery process was. There was no need for harsh medicines or antibiotics, and my immune system started improving. My energy levels, my vitality was improving. So this was fascinating. Like, I was really interested in all of this. And being the person that I was, I just didn't like it that my husband knew all these things about medicine and he was the one giving me some treatment and I knew nothing. So I started reading and I started studying. But there was still some, I'm not going to lie, there was still some skepticism, right? Is this really working? Or am I just getting better at fighting off, normal colds and flus? Am I just not getting as sick as much as when I was younger? So there were a lot of questions. And I wasn't like, like a strong believer or this is what it is. It took me a while. And then I got pregnant. So I got pregnant at around 2006. with my firstborn. And, I had a fine pregnancy. I was about 26 at the time, fairly young, very vital, no fertility concerns at the time, led a very active pregnancy. And around my second trimester, I woke up one morning and I couldn't move.
Oh, no.
I couldn't get out of bed. I could not even turn to get out of my bed. I was freaking out. My husband left for work. I was alone. We didn't have cell phones at our bedside table at that time. So,
Right.
here I was literally immobilized. Every time I tried to turn to move, there was a shooting pain. And
Where was the pain?
it was near my pubic area and it
Mm.
was shooting upwards.
Oh, boy.
And
That must have been very scary being pregnant for the first time, being paralyzed, unable to move, no one there to help you at the moment, and you're having shooting pains.
Yeah. And I can still remember that day like it was yesterday because I was so scared. I was like, what do I do? I could not move. I could not separate my legs. So my legs had to be completely shut. For whatever reason, they were just a little wider just to get out of bed or do anything. It was this pain that I had never felt before.
Mm.
So finally, understanding that I had to keep my legs shut, I crawled out of bed, literally crawled and went towards the phone, got onto the phone and told my husband something's wrong. I need to go to the doctor immediately. So I went to my OBGYN.
Well, what did the doctor say?
Her first words to me was, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, not good first words.
No. And I was, what? Like, you're supposed to fix this. Like, this is supposed to be okay. And her words were, I'm really sorry you have to have this because this is not usual for a first-time pregnancy.
Mm.
It's definitely not usual for the second term. It normally happens in the third term.
And did
And she
she
said,
diagnose this? Did she say what it was and what was happening?
yeah, it was called pubic symphysis pain.
Okay.
And apparently it happens to many women. It usually happens on their second or third pregnancies. But it's really as the shifting is occurring around the pelvic region and
Mm.
that expansion is happening. Some women just go through it a lot harder, a lot quicker, and the body can't cope with the changes. So
Mm.
their nerve pains and this pubic symphysis. And the solutions that she gave me was, well, you could try the swimming pool, but it could make things worse,
Oh, no.
make it better. But I really don't have an answer. And I felt defeated.
So
Like,
basically, she was saying there's no treatment. You can do this, but it can make it worse. So really, there is no treatment that she could recommend.
yeah, yeah.
And so she basically said just deal with the pain for the rest of the pregnancy, or what did she say?
She said, yeah, in essence, I'm really sorry. I don't know what to tell you, and I don't really have any solutions for you.
And she didn't
She said
understand
she's
why it occurred, the root cause. She didn't address that? No.
no, no, there was no root cause. And this OBGYN, she was highly recommended. She was actually one of my relatives used her because hers was a high risk pregnancy.
Mm.
So, this one was on top of her game. We were in Toronto. She knew her stuff,
And you weren't high risk.
I was not high risk. The baby was developing. Everything was going very, very smoothly
And
until
is this condition rare? Is it
uh,
very uncommon? You said
actually,
that it does
no.
happen later on for some women in other pregnancies, but do you know the
It's not.
statistics?
No, it's not that rare because my other relative, my sister-in-law, in fact, got a similar pain after after
Oh,
me. So I don't think it's that rare, I
okay.
really don't. And it was very like you could try a bunch of things, like you could try some exercises, but there was no guarantee, and it would always ended with it could make things worse.
So how was
It
the rest of your pregnancy? Were you in a lot of pain? Did the shooting pains continue?
So when I went home, my husband suggested I contact his homeopath who was in India at the time.
Oh,
And I was desperate. So I said, sure. I was already familiar with homeopathic medicine. I had taken it before and it was working. So I said, well, I've got nothing to lose. Let me go ahead and try it. So we called her up and she was such a sweet woman. She was at a wedding and she answered my call and I briefly told her the situation. And because she took the consult at the moment, spontaneously, while she was at a party, it was,
amazing. Amazing. She took it while she was at a wedding. That's a woman who
yeah.
loves her job and helping people.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. I think anyone who studies and becomes a homeopath, they're doing it because they definitely love the medicine and they know it works. But she took my call. The consult maybe took about 10 minutes. And she asked me exactly what I was feeling, my sensation, the kind of pain. She asked me what was causing it. So I told her the movement. I told her, every time my legs separate, that's it. The pain comes and I can't move. I become literally immobilized.
Wow.
And she prescribed. She gave me this homeopathic remedy called bryonia. And bryonia is not specific to pregnancy. I learned that later on. And it's not specific to pubic symphysis pain, but it was very specific to my kind of pain at the time that I was going through it.
Mm-hmm. And homeopathy is very safe to use in pregnancy. Yes?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I took it for about 5 days
And
and the pain went away.
wonderful. Completely gone.
Completely,
And
completely
never,
gone.
never reoccurred.
Nope, I had a wonderful pregnancy. The rest of the pregnancy,
Good.
everything went off well.
And then how
Um,
was your labor? How was that experience?
so the labor was actually quite challenging. And again, I didn't have any homeopath at the time, and labor came really sudden. It was 3 weeks before my due date. So he was early and my water broke. I went to the hospital and they told me, well, you don't really have too many contractions going on. So why don't you go home and just walk it off and come back when the contractions are closer together.
Mm-hmm.
I went back, nothing really happened. I didn't really have any contractions, so I had to go back to the hospital within 12 hours. So I went back and they said, oh, there's still no movement. Why don't you sit and walk? And I was just walking in the corridors. And again, no movement. So there was no progression with the contractions. So at that point in time, they wanted to speed up labor. I was taking up a room, I was taking up a bed. They wanted to speed it up and they pressured me into taking Pitocin. And while I was not having any pain, I went from pretty much 1 and 2, which was very, very bearable. It just escalated to off the charts kind of
Yes.
contraction. And
Yes.
I realized I could not cope. I didn't build the tolerance that was needed. And I then very, very quickly after suffering through those painful contractions, I asked for the epidural.
Mm-hmm.
And when they gave me the epidural, there was a problem with that. It actually didn't work the first time around.
Oh,
And
so you still felt everything.
I did. And then they had to
Yeah.
re-administer it. So I had 2 shots.
Okay.
Um,
And before they gave you the Pitocin, before they gave you the epidural, did they let you know of any potential side effects that could happen?
no,
No. So you weren't really given enough information to really give informed consent.
no. It was just, this is what we got to do. This is what we
Have
need
to
to do.
speed it up. Yes.
We
Okay.
have to speed it up.
And did your water break? I'm sorry, I forgot if you mentioned that.
Yeah, so
Your water
that's
broke.
the first thing that
Okay.
happened. It happened
Okay.
at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then that's when I went to the hospital and they told me go home. And then 12 hours later, I went back
Got it. Got
to
it.
the hospital. Yeah, as per their instructions. And then, we had the epidural. And they were getting worried about the baby, the heartbeat. So they had to keep monitoring his heartbeat for distress. And then from 1 minute to the next, I felt a lot of pressure. There was no pain, but there was pressure. And I did want to push. So I told the nurse that I really, really want to push. And she was like, okay, hold on, I'll get the doctor for you. And she disappeared. And meanwhile, I really wanted to push. I mean,
Yeah.
that pressure buildup, that's extraordinary. And I just wanted to push. There was no doctor, there was no nurse,
Oh no.
it's a hospital. And here my husband is catching my son. So finally, towards the end, the doctor came in. And because, this whole process of birthing needs to be really controlled, in the sense you can't just push, all your force at one shot. It has to be controlled and systematic. And I wasn't doing that. So I tore really, really badly. And
Mm.
it was just a mess. I was on an epidural, so I couldn't feel the pain. I couldn't feel that stretch and the
Until
tear,
later. Yes.
which would have controlled my pushing, right? It's
Mm.
biological. I wouldn't have gone all out. And instead I did, not knowing, what I was doing to my body.
Mm.
So I tore really badly. And thankfully he was completely healthy when he was
Oh,
born.
good. Good,
Happy,
good.
healthy, and he was beautiful, beautiful baby. Um,
Beautiful.
and he's a 16 and a half-year-old now. So yeah, very, very, very healthy. But yeah,
Did you
and then
have any other problems, or were you okay after birth? Any other?
yeah,
Good.
it
Okay.
continued. It continued, yeah. After the birth, because there was so much tearing, my recovery process was slower. Because of the Pitocin, I struggled through breastfeeding.
Mm.
I couldn't produce as much milk.
Mm.
So I struggled for a good 30-35 days before I started regaining my energy. And that's actually at the time when I decided to read up on homeopathy and read up on and really study about postpartum, depression, because I did feel some of that, even though,
Mm.
I didn't really get diagnosed. I did feel that
What symptoms did you have?
I was definitely not connecting with my baby. There was a lot of stress, there was a lot of tension, there was a lot of um, pressure on my side for wanting to breastfeed him and feeling incompetent and feeling
Mm.
like I'm just not a good enough mother, or maybe I don't deserve him. So a
Mm.
lot of self-doubt and criticism. And there was a lot of anxiety with just this pain,
Mm.
wondering whether I'm just going to live a normal life. So postpartum
Mm.
depression with anxiety, not having the ability to connect with your newborn.
Did you feel that you didn't have the bond that you were anticipating with your son?
Oh, absolutely, especially when I was so excited during my pregnancy and so looking forward, and I would read to him stories and, just hear feel those kicks and kind of just be in the moment of the pregnancy.
Yes.
When I had him, it was everything, all my emotions were totally different.
Mm. So
So if I,
describe that for women, because I think a lot of women, um, I forgot to mention in the beginning that I'm writing a 3-book series on holistic childbirth around the world. That's why this is one of my big passions right now. And for book 1, I'm going to be talking about postpartum depression, because most of the women who I interviewed, surprisingly to me, developed postpartum depression, and most of them did not even know they had it until later, once it passed. So if you can describe more of what you went through, I think this would be very helpful for women watching, because I think a lot of women think it's just depression. You just feel really depressed, and that's an overwhelming emotion, but there's a lot of other symptoms as well. Can you describe more what you're feeling? Did you have mood swings? Did you have depression and anxiety, or was it mostly anxiety? Did you have any rage, etc.? What were you experiencing?
so there were a lot of tears, a lot of
Mhm.
crying.
Yeah.
And there was crying while I was trying to nurse him. I remember tears rolling down my cheek and falling on him while he
Mm.
was on my lap.
Mm.
Um, it's hard to even talk about because it's so close to me, and knowing what I had to go through. And just fear. There was a lot of fear. Am I doing
Mm-hmm.
everything right? Is he growing? Is he developing? What if I'm not feeding him enough? What
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not capable of being a mother? What did I do? There's regret. There's
Mm-hmm.
regret. What did I do? Did I become a mother too soon?
Oh
Was I too
no.
young? And these are things that, as much support as you receive from your spouse, and I received a ton of support, but it was more support in the caring of the newborn, the support that we need for counseling, for that kind of rewiring of our thoughts and looking at things in a very different way. Sometimes your partner or your relatives, they can't do that because you're alienating them. And I alienated people around me. It was
And
like,
I think
how
they
can
don't
you?
understand. I think a lot of people don't understand what their loved one's going through because she can't articulate what she's feeling because she's so overwhelmed, she's so exhausted. A lot of times it comes with insomnia or sometimes sleeping too much. So you're have a brain fog, you're not thinking clearly, you have so much pressure and you're not able to communicate it to your family members, to your loved ones. So they don't really know what you're going through.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And they just feel, oh, it's an episode, it'll pass, it's a
Right.
stage. Oh,
Right.
this happens after delivery. Oh, it's okay, it'll go away. But I don't think it would have gone away if I did not use homeopathy. And at the time, it was homeopathic remedies that really came forward and helped me physically, mentally, as well as emotionally.
Beautiful, beautiful. So can you describe one, what is homeopathy for those who are not familiar with it, and how did it help you? What did you use it for?
Okay, so homeopathic medicine, we like to refer it as energy medicine. So it is medicine with a certain vibration and frequency that matches your vibration and frequency while you're feeling ill. So that's what makes homeopathic medicine very individualized and very specific to the individual that is taking it. It's highly diluted. So we take substances that are found in nature, in bodily fluids, in the ocean, rocks, in animals. We take substances from everywhere, but they're so highly potentized and highly diluted that the actual substance is not remaining anymore in the homeopathic medicine. It's just the energy of it. And that energy is what helps cure. So for my pain, everything that I was going through in the physical, mental, and emotional level was actually matching a very wonderful remedy called Bellis Pyrenees in homeopathy.
Mm,
And Bellis is amazing for childbirth and post traumatic stress. It's also really
mm,
good for any muscular tears or injuries. And I later found out that the cause of my pain was actually, and I found this out with the birth of my second child, that my muscle, not only did I tear on the exterior, but my muscle inside tore. That
yes, that can happen
tearing,
too. Yes.
it didn't get stitched.
Mm,
So my body was trying to heal that, and it was having a really hard time with the healing of it. And Bellis just came in and kind of helped it. And I healed very quickly after that. And with homeopathic medicine, the healing happens on all levels. So you'll never just heal on the physical, you'll also heal on the mental and emotional as well. So as I was healing physically, I realized I started connecting with my baby more. I started not putting so much pressure on myself for breastfeeding. And it turns out that when you just stop putting pressure on yourself, things just flow naturally.
yes, yes.
And the milk literally started flowing. So
Beautiful.
I
Wonderful.
ended up breastfeeding him for the next year and a half. Um,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Beautiful story. Yes. So I think those who are watching can see from your story how homeopathy helped you in so many different ways. And I believe your son was also colicky, wasn't he? Did
Oh,
he develop
yes,
colic?
yes. Yes, he was colicky. He would throw up milk every time
Mm,
that I fed him. And that added to my depression, right?
yeah.
Because not only are you feeling incapable or you're feeling that you can't do things, whatever milk I was giving him,
Mm,
he was throwing it out.
yeah.
So it was just feeding onto those really negative thoughts that I was having, that I cannot connect and I'm not a good mother. Oh, he doesn't love my milk either. See, he's rejecting it.
Mm.
So whatever was happening was feeding onto those negative thoughts. But as I was getting better, not only did I dose myself, but I also dosed my newborn son. And his remedy, again, a very common remedy where the milk is not being assimilated properly and the baby is throwing up that milk, is silicia, which is actually made from silica.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
get 3 doses for 3 days, 1 dose daily for 3 days, and never again.
That's all he needed. Three days.
That's it.
Amazing. Amazing. So this is also very important for mothers and moms to learn that it's even safe enough for children to take homeopathy. And it is so effective and it can help with so many different conditions. And it's all natural and no side effects, correct?
No side effects.
No side effects. Beautiful. That's what I love about natural healing. And I love that you emphasize that it is holistic healing. So, mind, body, and spirit. It's not just the physical body. Very important that we incorporate all of them together. Beautiful. So, did this experience transform you, change your life? Is that why you decided to go into homeopathy? Is that why you are doing what you do today?
Absolutely. This was life-changing. I mean, if I didn't believe it before with, when I was taking homeopathic medicine for common colds, I definitely believed in it at that moment. And not only did I believe in it, I just developed a whole passion for wanting to heal, wanting to bring homeopathic medicine in other people's lives and to go ahead and study. So I studied hard, I trained. I still continue studying. I mean, that's just part of it. But I got trained in the Canadian College of Homeopathic Medicine officially to get certified and to develop my
Beautiful.
practice. Yeah, because it's, to know that there are solutions out there and to know that those solutions affect us, and give us that benefits of holistic healing where you're just a changed person after that. I just wanted to share that.
Beautiful. So, did this then change you in other ways? Did you then develop this as a holistic lifestyle to realize that you can help yourself at any stage with any illness, mind, body, and spirit?
Oh, absolutely. Homeopathic medicine is literally a staple in our household. And, in my practice, it's the first thing we resort to for any ailment. And when I say ailment, I mean whenever there is a weakness in our body. And it doesn't necessarily have to be physical, it could even be in the mind. So when we talk about anxiety, or we talk about depression, or we talk about fears that we're having, it's homeopathic medicine. If we're having chronic or acute, and chronic would be something that's really lasting longer than 6 or 7 weeks and
Yes.
it's really debilitating, we reach out for homeopathic medicine. But aside from homeopathy, I think what this opened up for me was to look at everything else in our life. So whether
Mhm.
it's our environment or our diet or our exercise and sleep, I think
So
my
important. So important. And we're
my
not getting enough
children,
of it, most of us.
absolutely, my children, if they look tired, my first question is, did you get enough sleep? And it's so hard with today's day and age with our technology distractions and
Yes.
lifestyle, whether it's schooling, sports, activities, clubs,
You
work.
feel like you always have to be on. Everyone has to have access to you 24/7. It's like you can never just disconnect. Just let it go. Just be in the moment.
It absolutely. And I think sleep is really underrated. So I learned that to value sleep a lot. And that is
Beautiful.
so in my hierarchy, it's sleep, homeopathic medicine, diet, and exercise, and all of the other good stuff that comes with it. But it's a lifestyle. If you choose this path, it's everything. It encompasses all of it. And I think once you do, and you discover your vitality and you discover this internal peace within your body,
Yeah.
physically and mentally, you can't go back.
Yes, I agree. We have so much in common, so much in common. So I concur. I agree with everything that you say, that it is about having a holistic lifestyle. It's not just about taking something when you're sick and just treating the symptoms, but it is every single day. How can you improve your health and wellness? And we have the ability to do that, to take steps, small steps daily, and they do add up to create great vitality, great health. And food is important too. So I know that before we talked today, you were mentioning how, again, your husband was instrumental in helping you to understand how important food is for wellness. That you changed your diet and you felt better. It wasn't just the homeopathy, but also by changing what you ate. So I think it's very important for people to really value food, really value rest, as you said, value even socializing, having fun is also big and important. And it's all connected, all together creates wellness. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Absolutely.
I thought so. And just quickly, I know you had another child. Did you use some of these new ideas and principles? And did your second birth change? Was it different from the first?
So with my second one, I had all this knowledge on homeopathic medicine and lifestyle. So I kept myself really fit during my second pregnancy. And it wasn't difficult. I had a 2-year-old to chase after, and I
Yes.
was crawling on the ground. So I was really keeping myself physically very, very healthy. But also I used homeopathic remedies if I needed and when I needed through the pregnancy.
Good.
She yeah, she went full term. Her due date was March 31st, and she was born March 29th.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
full
And I think you
term,
said before you were early, weren't you 3 weeks early for your first?
I was. Yes, yes.
Okay.
So very, very different
Very
pregnancy.
different.
My water did not break this time. In fact, they had to kind of help nudge it to break because I was having contractions. I did have a midwife, and she was breached, but my midwife was amazing. And she went right up there during her contraction and maneuvered her around.
Turned her around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She got turned around and yeah, she was delivered. Very, very healthy baby.
Wonderful.
And breastfeeding immediately, like right after she was born.
Great.
And she latched on, no problems, no issues with recovery, none of that. There was no epidural. There was no
No
pain.
Pitocin?
There was oxytocin after because I had a condition of hemorrhaging.
Oh.
And so yes, and for the hemorrhage, they did have to interfere. But so even though I had a midwife, I chose to deliver at the hospital,
Mhm.
but none of the other complications that I had with my firstborn.
And you did hemorrhage the first time then?
I
Yes.
did.
Yes.
That was me, that's what I do and that's my body.
Mm.
And so had I known better now, looking back, there could have been remedies, homeopathic remedies that I could have taken before the birth
Mm.
that would have helped that and not allowed it. But I still was so new into the homeopathic world and did not know that there was anything that could help that.
Hmm. So I want to just elongate some of the things that you have said because I think it's very important for listeners. And since this is my passion, since I'm writing a book series about holistic childbirth, I want to kind of star some things that you said. So one, you mentioned with your first birth that you were given Pitocin, but you weren't really informed about the possible side effects, how it could affect your body, how it could increase the pain to like 1,000% greater, and possibly relate to tearing as well. So this is something through my research that I have found that many women aren't given enough information from their doctors, from the nurses about the possible side effects of medications. And there are side effects to all medications, and it's very important that women are informed. So it's very important that we also do our research because doctors, again, will not give that information very openly, sometimes not at all. And sometimes they even haven't done the research to know what the short-term side effects are and the long-term. And from my research, I have found that Pitocin does increase the likelihood of tearing. So yes, also with epidural, you cannot feel when you're pushing, but even women who I interviewed who did not have an epidural still tore more than women who did not have Pitocin. So this is important information for women to know because, again, it is our bodies. We don't want to tear. So it's important to have all the information. And also, you mentioned that you had a breech baby, and especially in the United States, things are a little bit differently. We don't have midwives in the hospitals, only basically home births. And so many OBGYNs, most of them will not deliver a breech baby, will not try for it, and they will say, "Your breech, immediately you have to have a C-section." And they do not know how to turn the babies. I know midwives do, but OBGYNs in our country, they do not know how to turn babies. So it will automatically be a C-section if you're at an American hospital. So some differences here, again, between Canadian births and also American births, and just, important information for women to know. That yes, hemorrhaging can happen, and Pitocin is very helpful if you do hemorrhage to, stop that. It is very, very effective. But also, again, some women are given Pitocin shots even if they do not hemorrhage. And again, they should be given information about the possible side effects and to give enough information to say, do I really need this? I'm not hemorrhaging. Do I still need this medication right now? And then they can decide, and they can refuse it. So women have a right to refuse medication. And this is very important because some women, it's not even something they think about. They're like, I'll just do whatever the doctor says to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I was not given that opportunity to know any information about it. And during that time, I wasn't into medicine, so I had not a clue. I went in there not knowing what they were giving me. They just put a lot of pressure that it needed to be done. And one of the reasons that they almost you feel scared is because you're worried about the baby. And
Yes.
you feel, okay, if I don't do this, something's going to happen to my baby. Um,
Yes.
and that's a difference when I had the midwife at the hospital, because I had the comfort of being at the hospital if something would go wrong. But having the midwife there and knowing that she was going to have my back no matter what, and she knew how I felt, and she knew that during the pregnancy and active labor that I was having the pains, I was taking homeopathic medicine through the whole delivery. I
Mhm.
delivered my baby in 2 hours.
Yes, that's quick.
Yeah, and then I went home 5 hours after giving birth, and I was
Very
walking.
quick.
They asked me, "Do you
Wow.
want the wheelchair?" And I said, "No, I can walk. I am fine." I mean, there was minimal tearing. I couldn't even feel it. I healed quickly. And like I said, it was such a drastic difference between the two births. It was unbelievable.
Yes. Yes. So that again shows everyone who's watching this video today that yes, you can take proactive care, you can be preventative, you can change your health, and you can change your birth experiences. It is possible to improve. Even if you have one scenario that happens the first time, it does not mean that it will definitely happen the second time around. And again, very important that you have the right support to support you. You found the midwife who was there to support you and who was understanding that you wish to take homeopathy during the pregnancy, during the labor. And that's important too. It's important to be on the same page with your provider.
Yeah, she was understanding and she was supportive of it, which was really, really nice. And she was like, "Yeah, if you need to bring all your medicines into the hospital room, you can." And we had, my
Wonderful.
husband was going back and forth and asking me, "Okay, what do I do? What do I give you? How do I help you?" And, he was there, my midwife was there. It couldn't have been a more perfect environment. And I don't
Wonderful.
have any regrets for my second child, because it just it happened so nicely. And I felt that if more women have access and know about their options, they can choose. That's the idea.
Yes.
You
Yes.
to feel empowered and be able to select which path you wanted to take. When I was bleeding, there was no choice at that matter. At that point, I wanted the medication.
Of
It was
course.
needed.
It
I
was
needed to stop it.
necessary.
It was
Yes.
necessary. So I think, it's not the idea that I would say no to all medications. The idea is know what is good for you at which point in time. And
Hmm.
even with my patients, if I feel that their situation, that they do need to go to the doctor to get tests, or whatever it is that they need. And maybe some are urgent. I'll be like, you need to go to the hospital, call 911 right away,
Yes.
because we need to know which are those situations that require the hospitals and the doctors, and which are situations that don't necessarily require it. And we can do it with alternative and holistic health options. So
Yes. Absolutely.
empowering your choices. That's really
Yes.
what.
Very important for us to know that we have choices. That's one of the reasons why I decided to do this TV show, because I want women to know, because so often women are told, okay, you've got this chronic condition. There's nothing we can do. You just have to accept it, just like you were told in the beginning with your first pregnancy that you had this condition. You just have to deal with the pain. And there are always options. There's always options that you can improve your health and wellness, and you can do it naturally. Yes, you can also go to Western medicine, use medication, doctors, etc. But if you wish to have a more natural approach, it is available to you. Is there anything else you'd like to tell listeners, those watching, about homeopathy? Anything else you'd like to educate them about, or maybe bust some myths about?
There's always that myth that homeopathic medicine is a placebo,
Mm,
because we don't have the actual substance, right? We talk about dilutions, we talk about energy medicine, and a lot of times people just don't understand that because it's beyond the concrete, it's beyond substance. What I want to tell you is that if indeed it was placebo, then we wouldn't have been able to treat babies, and we wouldn't be
mm,
able, because placebos just don't work on infants. So if you're
mhm.
having an infant who has bronchitis, has asthma, colicky, vomiting, and you see an improvement after homeopathic medicine, and you've changed nothing else in their diet, or you've changed nothing else in their life, you better be sure that it's a homeopathic remedy working. So just want to bust out that myth that it's placebo. It can't work on babies, and we also treat it for the elderly, who again may not be able to vocalize, or may have Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. And again, it wouldn't work if it was placebo, and it does. With ailments that are chronic and deep rooted, like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, you may not be able to cure it with homeopathic medicine because they're elderly, their vitality is low, but for sure you'll be able to help a lot of the symptoms and help them with their pain and help them achieve a better life for themselves. So just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you for asking that.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. And I just want to star again, no side effects, everyone. Okay. No side effects with homeopathy. Medication always has side effects, and people are not really concentrating on that because they want so badly to overcome a chronic condition that they're willing to take it because, again, they feel like they have no choice. And they don't realize oftentimes that they may take a medication and have side effects and then need to take another medication for the side effects from the first medication. So again, with homeopathy, no side effects. You are treating one condition. You're not then leading to another condition, and safe enough for children, for pregnant women, for elderly. Anyone can take it, men, women, and very specific remedies. It's not one remedy for everything, but very specific. You need to work with someone who has studied, such as yourself. And I think it's a beautiful, natural healing modality. Just very lovely that more people should know about. And before we go, I would also like to let you talk about your new social media platform, Wellbee Social. Would you like to tell everyone a little bit about this platform and who is it for and why you decided to start it up?
Yes, thank you. So, in my passion and my journey for wellness and learning about homeopathic medicine, during the pandemic in 2020, us homeopaths, we tried to reach out to different homeopaths across the world, whether it was in Israel or India or US, Europe, and I felt like we had so much to offer as a community if we all got together, us homeopaths, as well as osteopaths, as well as nutritionists. There would be so much information out there for people to improve their health, whether it was, long COVID that they're suffering, or after COVID, or, during COVID. So that was the idea that I had during the pandemic. Was I wanted to create a social networking platform. So educators, practitioners, and people who just want to know medicine can actually just interact with each other and they can engage. So whether it's through discussions or research articles or discuss, the latest data that's coming in about some, nutritional advance for Alzheimer's, for example, or and they can actually discuss it, or they can give their own experiences or share videos such as yours or your books.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that if there was an exclusive platform for wellness, that people would then just come together and share that information. I think that it's not out there, and it really, really needed to be out there. So that was back in 2020 and 2021 when I started developing it myself.
Beautiful. I'm so
And
glad
so
you did.
yeah, it was during my time when I wasn't with patients and I wasn't raising my children, I wasn't with my family, that I was sitting and working on Wellbee. And Wellbee has been such a huge passion project of mine. And we launched it just a few weeks ago. And yeah, I welcome anyone who's interested in knowing more about holistic wellness in any topic that you want, whether it's childbirth or whether it's pregnancy or elderly diseases, infancy, childhood, whether you have a passion for craniosacral therapy or osteopathic medicine or acupuncture. The list is endless. We are not limiting. It's absolutely limitless. It's practitioners and educators. And really, we want people to join who just want to interact and maybe find practitioners, because our world is now very, very online, very virtual.
Yes.
People in Europe are giving consultations to people sitting in America or Canada. So definitely, be able to reach out to those practitioners, see if there's a connection, and be able to just empower your wellness journey. That's really what it is. So that's what we're trying to aim with Wellbee, is just bringing people together and having that platform. It's free. Anyone can
Yes,
sign
it's free, everyone. Can you believe it? Another free
up.
platform, and you get to learn about health and wellness, women's health, homeopathy, all these different specialties, learn from the experts, and just have a wonderful, supportive community. It's
Yes.
beautiful. I've joined, so I'm on
Yes.
Wellbee. I'm very happy to be there, very happy to be invited, very happy to meet you, Karina. Again, the stars have been aligning with the people who I've met who have agreed to be guests. And I do recommend that everyone join, because we need to focus on our health and wellness. We need to prioritize our health and wellness, right? If you don't have your health, what do you have? I always say that. Your health is your wealth. That is my main focus, priority in life. After having a chronic illness for 15 years, I'm not going to go back to that lifestyle. And now I prioritize being well every single day, having a holistic lifestyle. So with Karina's beautiful platform, you can prioritize that daily. Again, you can meet practitioners who are all around the world or even in your backyard, and have the help that you need, have your questions answered, and get the support to support you and to empower you. Because we want to empower more women with their health and wellness. We want people to get the help that they need. And also, we have censorship, unfortunately, right now on Facebook and Instagram and other platforms. But with your platform, you will be able to really hear from the experts without the censorship.
Absolutely. Because, the practitioners and educators, they're the ones who are out there. They're treating people. They're gathering a lot of data themselves. So if they feel a particular remedy works for something, that's because they've used it, actually concrete evidence and practice. So,
Yes.
that data is irrefutable, and you get to talk with those practitioners. You get to hear their stories. You get to hear their research, their blogs. And I think that to have this one source to just go to for any question that you have, and a practitioner can reach out to you or answer your question, it's necessary for our world today.
Yes, and just want to start what you said, that there are people who are doing this for a living and who are researchers who are doing the research every day. Just like I said, holistic lifestyle is very important, but also it's important to keep on researching, keep on finding new data, new studies, and learning. We're all continuing to learn, even if we are specialties in a field. I'm always researching. I did research for my book series. I'm always researching for my clients. I'm a curious person. I can't stop learning. This is what I want to do because I want to help all of you. So definitely join. Can you give the link so that they can go ahead and sign up for Wellbee Social? What is the URL link?
Absolutely. It's just https://wellbee, WELLBEE .social.
Perfect. And that will be below this video as well. So you can just click on it and join. Again, it's absolutely free. And any other links, websites you would like people to know about, how they can find you, learn more about what you do?
I sit on Wellbee, I'm there. So
Okay.
if you just sign up, you can just look me up and send me a message. I'd love to hear from you.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Everyone, take her word. Go ahead and send her an email. Get in touch with her. Karina is a lovely person, very friendly. And so definitely reach out and join Wellbee Social. So thank you, Karina. This has been an absolute pleasure to interview you. Again, we have so much in common with our beliefs about holistic lifestyle, holistic health and wellness. And again, I came from a very similar background to you, that I grew up going to the doctors, Western medicine, prescribed antibiotics, no other choices, and learned when I had a chronic illness that there's a whole other world out there, a whole other world of possibilities for healing. So thank you for sharing your story. I think it will inspire and empower many. Thank you for being a guest on Holistic Me TV. And if you are watching this video today, please go ahead and give it a like, give us a comment. If you have a question, we will circle back and answer your question. And also don't forget to subscribe. Go ahead and click on the bell, subscribe to Dancing Curtain, and then you will get the whole series of Holistic Me TV. So I have experts from all around the world, just like Karina in Canada, all around the world, sharing their expertise, sharing their beautiful stories to empower you. So go ahead and click on the link to reach out to Karina. Go ahead and click on the bell to subscribe, and we hope to see you next time for another episode. Thanks again, Karina. Have a great day.
Thank you, Khristee. It was so nice to talk to you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you.